Hey there, guys. It's in there with trading cards. Today, it's been a week almost since the reveals of everything that, pretty much went down. I think it's been like 5-6 days now. And, yeah, it should be day 6. I think tomorrow. No, technically, when this goes out, it will be like a half a day away. So, about the same time. It's been about a week now, essentially, since we've gotten all the new news. And while I've given my initial thoughts and things, I want to try to, now I've digested things more, give my impressions 1 week later. Of course, we still don't have any card effects, which is a big thing. That is the next big thing that I'm waiting for them to reveal. We will be getting more news on our next Dr. O stream. If anything big comes out of it, I'll definitely make a video on that, personally. Because while I'm not going to be trying to keep up with all the news and stuff, use channels like Solemn Vanguard or Different Fight if you want to keep up with that very important stuff. Also, World Class Card Fighters is very good for that. This is just more of a me giving personal thoughts, and if you want to share your thoughts, please do type channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So, I'm on the Card Fight Wiki, just looking at a bunch of the images that have been uploaded. These all should be about the same, area together in here. And let's go ahead. We've got our first image, which is of the carousel within the whole abandoned amusement park, essentially. Honestly, the anime is gonna be something different. I am personally excited for it, but at the same time, I'm not wanting to get overhyped about it, because a lot of people are like, Clamp's involved, which I guess let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Clamp is not the one animating the show. It's actually Studio Citrus, which they have animated Made in Abyss as well as Shield Heroes. They're two big ones everyone talks about. Clamp merely did the character designs, but on top of that, I'm not sure how Studio Citrus is structured, because there's usually many teams, of course, within a studio that works on the different levels of anime. And I don't know how big Studio Citrus is, so I don't know if this is like an A team or a B team or whatever, what the budget's going to be. But at least I can say this, the art definitely looks good. My main problem with the anime is actually the Clamp designs. It's not that I don't like the designs, because I do. It's just, here, this image right here. You look at all the 4 main characters we've currently had that have been, drawn in the TMS art style, and they all look very much like as if they belong together. But then you look at Yu here, and he just doesn't really fit in or belong. It's not, super bad, but it's just, the darker / more realistic colors and stuff just makes him feel kind of out of place. I don't know. This is very much just a personal thing, and I'm sure I'll get over it when I watch it. Because, when I watch the trailer, I'm like, yes, but then I think about it, as Vanguard. Because Vanguard's always had this kind of, more poppy, kind of colorful look to it. But then now you have all these more darker and realistic colors to stuff. And it's definitely going to get used to. I do like the fact that the anime is actually going to be using a 12 to 13 season structure, with currently 2 seasons already planned. To actually give better quality, as well as we're having a studio, that will actually have a bit more time on their hands, to animate it. It does make me actually wonder, though, what will they do? Is OverDress going to be more than 2 seasons? And we're going to just keep getting, more anime, Because from what we've seen so far, it seems relatively grounded. There's no magic or anything. It just seems like people who play card games within this world, and I've been wanting stories like that. And while I've been able to think of a few, possible scenarios, which you could keep going a show for a couple of years, maybe using that kind of, grounded storytelling, it's definitely a lot harder than the more shonen, magical type storytelling we've had up to this point, which is, hit or miss, mostly miss for me personally. I liked it, as a teenager, which is typically been their main audience, but I do believe that because of how OverDress is being presented, that they understand that their audience is mostly adults, because they kept trying to advertise both the show and the card game to kids and teenagers, and while they are still a large portion of the player base, majority of the player base is in their 20s to 30s, and it's not even with Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they can keep getting in new kids. No, because basically, Vanguard broke into the West right whenever a bunch of teenagers and mostly young adults were getting fed up with Yu-Gi-Oh! and pretty much they latched on that and kind of grew up with it. And unfortunately, because of their push outside of Japan has been rather weak, and their lacking of being able to invest in a proper dubbing studio has made that the dub has had a lot of suffering. Although I would like to see the dub return, even though there's no confirmation for one of any right now. Although the fact that we are in a seasonal anime, no longer a weekly, anime to continue, would definitely severely help out with the dubbing process, as it would give them a lot more time to do so, or at least a lot more preparation and the head of time to try and figure out how they're going, even if it's not necessarily a hey, we're getting this right now, because it's clearly, since we're going to just broken up seasons, that we're not going to be trying to match up the anime perfectly with the card game releases, like just kind of in general strokes, probably about how the Vanguard Koshin was, where it was like a month or two difference, like the cards had already been released and then they might show up in the anime. Heck, that's technically the opposite thing happened with Dimension Police, where they showed up in the anime originally, and I think it was like 6-9 months before that stuff came out in the TCG after it showed up in the anime. So it's not like they have to make it, but marketing suggests that you would want to put it there and be like, oh, coming out soon, or maybe right around this time it's already come out, because really, animes are typically usually used for marketing more than anything for a product, unless you're trying to actually tell a story. But if it's attached to an IP, it's probably just being used to sell a product, and the best way to do that is be like, oh yeah, shiny new card saves the day. And, why would you want to advertise something that's months old or something that's months away? But they've done it before, and it hasn't necessarily hurt them, but at the same time, I understand. Which leads me into this weird spot with the anime, because, yes, I want to see the dub, because they really need to push out, because I really feel like this would be any season dub. Like, I understand why they didn't dub If. I understand why there was kind of problems with dubbing Shinimon at the end. But I'd really like to see an actual animation or an actual dubbing company get hired to dub this new, OverDress seasons, because I think it would really help push the game outwards, because, it's the point of the anime is to advertise it. And if it's a good enough, anime, that will bring people in. But I'm assuming they don't want another Luck and Logic, where they actually poured money into Funimation, into a higher animation studio, just for that anime to flop, which was also a 1 season, gonna be a 2 season, but then that never came out. So I understand, and I think that's pretty much, unless something else pops up on here, my general thoughts about the anime so far. I am excited, but it does suck that we are not getting a dub, and I would like to see one in the near future if possible. Just more, I guess we can talk about the characters so far. So we have Tamori Seto, or something along those lines here. So here, check out W/'s like Vanguard Overdress conspiracy video, because it covers pretty much a lot of my thoughts on what will end up happening, as well as there's already the summary page out there that's also in that video that he'll talk about. So if you really want to have ideas for how the anime is going to go, I really don't know anything yet. Like I said, I like the designs, but it's just weird comparing them to, being in the world of Vanguard itself. And we get through all the characters, and yes, I'm a Team Megumi. Yes, sorry, Seto. Then we have this guy. I have no clue who he's supposed to. Maybe he'll be our Bermuda player. Who knows? Although I will say, I like this poster art. Very much like this poster art. Very good poster art. So we got the Hamskys, if you've seen those real. I do definitely like the Hamskys. I've always liked Hamskys. Okay, this is actually something to talk about. Get back there. So we now have had the sample image of the playmat come out, confirming that front triggers will be returning, as well as, there's now the explanation for over triggers in the trigger zone, and there is the entire little space over here for you to put your ride deck. I don't think they have the full image on here. It's close in this area. Let's see, I think we're just getting to Bermuda Triangle stuff now, which I really do not care about that. Older 50. Yeah, I think, Italian. I like, how far back is Italian? Alright, so we can talk more about the over triggers. Now we have the official translations. So basically, when you trigger an over trigger, if you don't know, regardless, it will remove itself from game the moment you trigger it and you draw a card to replace it. So that means if you damage check it, it then, technically disappears. It never goes to your damage, so damage doesn't technically happen. It immediately removes itself from the trigger zone. And then you draw your card. And if you drive check it, you then get your 100 million power like you would defensively, but you get an additional ability. And here in the starter decks, it's another 100 million power. So what are my thoughts on over triggers? So far, depending on how they handled the standard format, which we really don't know anything yet, I think they're going to be fine. And personally, from what I've seen, I think it'll be perfectly fine. In premium, however, it definitely seems like there might be some issues with that. I think unless something big comes up in, like, Oracle, which I only see over triggers being a problem in Oracle, if they bring back Ikushima to full power, that would be, because I'm pretty sure she's still banned on, I'm pretty sure she is. If she isn't, then, yeah, that might be an issue. But if Ikushima's still banned, or errated to where you can't use it for first strike or something like that, I don't think that'll be a problem. The only problem card that I think is just straight up going to maybe be an issue with over triggers will be Ultima. But since it's really just going to be probably one or two cards that will really break over triggers, I think it'll overall be fine. And they might just let it be, because with Ultimate, the card has to stay in the deck, unlike with, well, I guess if you're playing the Ultimate in the Oracle, I guess it don't really matter. So yeah, I definitely could see them if they do any kind of restrictions on over triggers, saying that you cannot play an over trigger with an Ultima in the same G zone. So, that'd probably just be my best thing on there. I definitely am actually fine with over triggers since you can only play one of them, and if you draw into it, it's a nice 50k shield. And yes, defensive options are nice. I do think it's a little silly that, like, alright, I damage check this, and unless you get one yourself, you can only attack my rears. And if I'm a premium player, then I may not have any rears for you to attack, but that's just how it goes. But that is being really interesting. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine with it. The Italians, I don't even know how far they are. I think they're only like halfway through G. They might be done. So we got, of course, I want to talk about, I've talked about this a couple of times, but I am absolutely in love with the new art. Like, my gosh, the V-Series art is kind of trash most of the time. Like, especially the Spike Brothers art. My god, now that, fortunately, the new Spike Bros type cards, their art is great. Like, it feels like it's in a strong art direction, but most of the art, not all, but most of the art for Spike Bros in the V-Series was kind of garbage, like, let's be honest. It was very mediocre to just kind of garbage. And yeah, Trickstar is basically just going to be new Chrono Dram. I love Ultraman, I love Chrono Jet, and it's literally just looks like a mixture between the two. Alright, so we got the arts for, Brant Gate, Stoichia. I will eventually figure out how to say that name. I eventually figured out how to say Magnalikia, I think is how it is. Keter Sanctuary, Dark States, and Dragon Empire. Here's all just the different arts for all the over triggers. Of course, we don't know what their special abilities are going to be when you drive check them, but, that's where it is. Now, I've talked about this before, and now I've really got to look at, the card frame. I actually do like this card frame a lot. It almost looks, with how this is almost a little bit more stony, and like the more specialties up at the grade. It almost makes it feel like a little bit more tribal, but at the same time, you still have these metal bars down here that makes it also look still a little bit the more futuristic cybernetic look that it always had. I do actually like this overall. My main issue is, which I can't, but basically where it says normal unit or trigger unit, just the fact that it's just kind of sticking out there is kind of bothering me. But I feel like they could have just had basically where the nation flag is, just put that over there and put like normal unit or trigger unit on top of each other, and just call that good, and just have it be in a little element hexagon over there. And I think that would have, like I said, just worked a lot better. Or they could just take normal unit and trigger unit off entirely and just do it like Yu-Gi-Oh! Towards, like, you just kind of know, I guess. Although they eventually did actually start putting normal on the normal units too. So I guess, yeah, whatever. It's just be how it is. This is actually a big deal. This is the first time a Vanguard anime has had a custom logo, because it's always been the product logo and a subtext if there was one. And this is actually really cool that we're actually getting a custom logo for the anime. It's also another thing that I'm personally excited about. So we got all the starter deck boss arts. So I like the aesthetic personally of Police Woman. You know, I don't like her art that much. I don't know. I think it's just the metallic arms. No, I really don't know. It's just throwing me off. We got the big chunker Great Nature card. Like all these arts look so good. Bastion, you know, Keter Sanctuary, you know, praise to the sun, or whatever it'll end up being the meme. We'll eventually come up with the memes for it, you know, Bastion with my formulas for victory for every situation. And yes, my gosh. So I have one of my friends that's both a Spike Rider and Mega Colony player, and he loves the fact that this is like a Spike's play. It almost looks like he has like bug wings in the green background and stuff, and he loves this boss unit art. And I gotta admit, I'm a pretty big fan of it too, and the fact that it's drawn by Lack, of course, just makes it all the better. And then we have some more reveals. This was a recent promo reveal for Genesis. This actually gets into an interesting talk. So what this promo does is that you can, when your Vanguard's attack hits, or either attacks or attacks hits, you can rest it to look at the top card of your deck, put it back on, it's whenever your Vanguard attacks. You look at the top card of your deck, you can either put that card that you looked at, you're back on top, or put it in the soul. If you put the card in the soul, one of your units gets 5k for a turn. See, this is a good card, but it's not a mandatory promo card for a deck. Like, having this card's like, oh, you know, this is nice, this might go off every now and then, basically gives me, it's a revelation card. That's what it is. It's literally revelation without the keyword, and it can give a bit of power. So it's basically just a GR, you know, revelation skill, which is a, hey, you know, this is some nice extra, you know, it makes it towards a promo worth getting, but it's not needed like most of the promos have been recently. So Bushy, please make your promos more along this line, to where it's like, hey, this is a neat little thing to where it can help, but it's not gonna like make or break a deck, and I need it, and it's impossible to get because we never get promos in Japan. Oh, that's actually another big thing. So also, anyways, that's actually a big thing that we got revealed, and that's that we are getting some form of box stoppers. So for the first set, you will get, at least for the first round, 4 random sleeves, which will be of a couple different designs. From what I'm understanding, we don't know what they are, as well as the rainbow over trigger with the whole poster art with all the main characters on it that we looked at before. And that's actually pretty cool, and I cannot tell you how much more, excited I am to see that we're getting any kind of box stoppers. But please, Bushy, for us in English, because you used to do this, if you're going to make a bunch of Japanese promos and they're going to be, somewhat good or necessary, please just make them as box toppers and give it to us that way. Because it's not like you give us our shop promos on, time anyways. So what's it matter? Even when you do give us shop promos, they're usually much, much worse than the ones we got in Japan. And so, also please make the tournament promos, victory promos foiled. Please, that's all I gotta say, just a little bit more, that'd be super helpful. But, whatever. We'll just continue onwards. We got all the new nation designs, nation flag designs. I love them all. They all look great. Got the over trigger. Oh, this. I love this. Like, one of my friends is a hardcore Bermuda player, and he's like, I've never felt so more called out, but, proud of, my representation at the same time. So, yeah, I love this. It's a good thing that, so basically, the 5 nations are warring with each other, except for Bermuda. They're up in the sky on a flying whale, because they don't actually belong here. They're just a cash grab, and they know it. Yes. Thus it begins, and I love it so. Love the, I guess if you guys don't know, Thailand gets a bunch of exclusive promos, and there we go. They're getting some case closed promos. So if you're in the Thai and you don't know about that, you'll be getting some case closed or Detective Conan, wherever it'll be called based on your region. I don't know what it's called in Thailand. And we get all of the arts. I love these arts. I'm really hoping as my lore video stated, I really hope that we do get, more lore. Love the arts. The fact that we're getting $5 starter decks. Like, I'm so just it's $4 USD, but from what I'm understanding, most shops and most retailers will be selling them for $5. maybe $7, depending which area you're in. If you see them unless you really want to dedicate, give to your locals, don't spend more than like $7 in each of these starter decks, like $7, $8. Because at that point, you can just buy them online with some shipping. And you only need to buy one of them. So unless you want to get foils, because only the cover cards will become as a foil in these start decks, which is typically a way to cut costs on these cheap decks, is to either put only one, maybe two tops foils in the decks. But yeah, love the art directions. I love all this. This all looks so good, and of course now we have like this Victor Chronojet thing that Trickster most likely will be evolving into, and I think it is confirmed actually from one slide that I saw before the Genesis of the 5 Greats. I guess also we can talk about this. The fact that all 5 Great Nations will be able to be played together, or be able to be in every single main set, is insane to me. Finally. So it's like, even if your aesthetic doesn't get, support for a while, you still have a bunch of other support to play with it. Yeah, it does suck that you can't just make it that full aesthetic, but hey, something's better than nothing. It's much better than what we had. And if you still care about, the whole trying to make the clan-centric specific cards, we have premium format for that, because clan selection is still very much there, and I guess clan selection. So V-Series will still continue to get boosters and everything twice a year. I'm wondering if this clan selection we have right now counts as that. Probably, Butchie likes to fudge their wording. It'll most likely be just basically we get, maybe not the clan selection plus, it might just be, 3 new cards essentially for all the clans, and it might, set weight, because if it's 3 new cards for all the clans, that's 72 plus, a few other cards. They could throw in a few Cray Elementals and make it like 75, 80 cards, and at that point, they could just have a more traditional Fighters collection at that point, essentially, like the premium collection, essentially, where with, or Revival collection. Oh yeah, Revival collection. I am putting it down now. That's all we're getting. Our quote-unquote English premium product, I think it's just Revival collection again, which I'm fine with. There are so many cards. We need Flogels, we need Javelins, we need Gainosalot, we need the flipping G-Guard, and that's all just for Royals. Like, there's so many good G-era cards that will continue to be used into the future that all the clans have a few of. And please, we need the Nile. Slay Me Flare reprint. My gosh, we need a Slay Me Flare reprint. Please. It's the main thing that's stopping me from building premium golds. Please give me a premium Slay Me. Because then I can at least adopt my Spectral Duke Dragon in there and be like, okay, even though I'm still negging, whatever. I just need to put one, or, please just give me a Slay Me. I don't care. At least for the other people, we need Slay Me Flare reprinted. Please. Like, now. But, so, yeah. Clan selection, I'm so glad we're still getting them. Raging Form and Tetra Drive has been confirmed. Because, for me personally, I'll mess around, with V Premium a bit. No way I'm ever going to probably play tournaments unless I go to a locals and that's all they had there at that week. Then I'll play V Premium there, but I'm mostly just going to be using these V Premium boosters as premium boosters. Like, hey, Raging Form's coming. Okay, that's good for a premium Raging Form. I'm not really caring for it to be is premium exclusive unless, depending, because here's the thing. V Premium can still be fun, especially looking at the new clan selection stuff, and if they keep up that level of, good stuff coming, and they hit problematic stuff like really Gavriel right now, and maybe Sweet Karanto, I think is its name, the Tachikaze Grade 2, yeah. If they hit basically those two, the only other, really insane deck I would say is maybe Vanquisher, but what do you even hit in Vanquisher? Like, the Bird? Jaggy Shot would technically be the best, would be the most, if you had to hit anything in Vanquisher, it'd probably be Jaggy Shot. Because if you get away Gavriel and you take away, Sweet Karanto, I think that Narukami would be the best deck, and, by far over everything. Those are probably going to be the 3, tier 1 decks. But then you also have, Sanctuary Guard. It's just I'm just the best 3-stander in the game. Whatever. even though I don't synergize with the clan all, yes, I will continue to, even though I have those cards coming in the mail right now, because I said I was going to complete my premium collection, and I will foil all those cards, and it is a strong card, so if I'm going to go play in the locals anytime soon, I will be using Sanctuary Guard, because I'll be trying to win, most likely, unless it's just completely for fun, in which case I have to use Sanctuary Guard, because he's the best boss card Royals has right now in B, and I was so excited for Sanctuary Guard, and then they just made this card that just pisses me off. Like, why? Why does it do what it does? It does nothing what it should. It doesn't synergize with anything. Why? I'm playing a combo deck that can't combo. But at least, when the Jewel Knights come out, they'll make the deck a bit better, so it's doing a bit more, so... Yeah, let me check if there's anything else real quick. Oh yeah, this is apparently the stage to meet Stoicia. I guess that's her name. We thought it was Isabel at first from the translations, but I guess not. D-series icon, yeah. Oh yeah, go back. Sleeves in the anime. Only Danji, from what I'm understanding, is who he is. Was playing it. Was using them, these blackout sleeves, but sleeves. Yeah, card game anime. I'm sure it's been done before, but yeah. Good hamster boys. Yeah, that looks like that's about it. I don't think there's really much more. Let me check back. But this video's been going on for a while anyway, so I might cut it there soon. Yeah. Yep, doesn't look like there's anything. Because the only other thing to talk about is the card design that they might end up going for, but there's literally nothing to go off of. So, besides, I guess, don't do what you did in B for the card design, where you made things too boring for like the first half. As much as I liked how much more balanced it was there in that first year. I did enjoy it, it was like, because it was that relief period from Gear Chronicle, and Gize and everything, gosh darn it. That, in the G was, I don't know I think I hated in the G more than I hate in the V, at least with, in the V, I still just have hopes that a simple choice restrict can save, the format, which it very much can. Just a couple more choice restricts, and assuming that because it's clear it was the clan selections are trying to lower the power of standard and even things out more, and I think that they'll eventually, over time, hit some, like, maybe Gabrielle and Sweep Karanto or whatever needs to be the problem child, and, make it so that V Premium's a lot more healthier. It can be saved, but it's literally walking on major eggshells. So, I think I enjoy in the V a bit more than the end of, G. But at the same time, I feel like that because of how the skill level works in G and Premium, you still had a better chance of winning because you could actually do some stuff a bit more with random decks, and there was actual rogue decks instead of like now. Yeah. But besides that, I don't think there's anything else more to talk about. Just don't screw up, card design, I guess, and art's good. I think there was something else I was wanting to say real quick. Oh yeah, persona writing. We just like a card design we don't know anything about except for that it triggers when wrote from hand. So persona writing, you're gonna be one of two things. You're gonna be you write the card from hand, you write a copy over itself to gain ability, and we know that persona writing only works from hand, probably to prevent abuse from ride deck as well as future superior writing skills, which is completely understandable. Great future proofing. And so it's either just going to be, hey, I trigger the skill when I write a copy of the card, or it's going to be, hey, when you ride your grade 3 from hand over a card with Persona Ride, you transfer like its name or its abilities or both or whatever it is or power up to it, and it basically becomes like a stride. I'm hoping for that latter one because it opens up so much more than just being like, I'm going to keep riding the same guy over and over again, which it's something cool if it can actually be cool depending on what it is. If it's something like Blaster Blade per se, Yeah, but besides that, there really is nothing else to talk about, so I think I'm just gonna end the video there. Thank you guys for watching. Keep playing the games you want to play, and as always, have fun.